Hello everyone, this is Edwin Olvera from Edwin Olvera Dance and Creative Services. And in this particular video, I get the pleasure and the honor to interview Dani Kuepper. Dani Kuepper and I, we've known each other for at least 14 years,
yes.
if I'm correct. That's when I was 21, so now I'm turning 35. Jeez. Anyway, I've met Dani at UW-M when I was a student there, when I first transitioned out of the military and going into the dance world. She was one of my teachers in modern, and I don't think it was that good at it. It was great. I think it was physical. I didn't know what I could do later. The other thing, Dani is also the artistic director of the major company here called Danceworks. Now, I have to be careful about saying that because Danceworks, there's multiple components, but there is the dance company portion, which you are the artistic director of.
Yep.
And you're also have been a part of the UW-M faculty now for at least 16 years.
Yeah.
If I'm correct, yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Good job.
Listen, I'm bad at spelling, but good at math.
Good job.
One of the reasons why I'm interviewing Dani is because, for those of you who don't know, who are not here in the Midwest region, especially in Milwaukee, there are artists, whether they're artistic directors, choreographers, or movers, who really influence the community, and I believe that Dani's one of them. And so I'm really proud to have her here and to do this interview. We only ask 7 questions and then one like positive or what did I write down here? Word of advice.
Okay.
For the young artists, young and upcoming artists.
Yes.
Okay. So I guess the best thing to do is we always start back in the beginning. So when you were growing up, what were some signs that were showing that you were going to be a mover? Like what things did you do when you were little kid, teenager, and then adult?
Very clear first sign was that I practiced 100 cartwheels every day.
Really?
As a point, yes. Every day. I counted aloud.
Really?
And I practiced 100 cartwheels, yes. And then I started cartwheeling all the way to school and all the way home with my backpack on.
Yeah.
So I needed a backpack. And yeah, and then my mom signed me up for gymnastics, and I loved it. And then I always did best.
What's that name?
Oh.
Is it recording? It is recording. Woo!
Oh, good. Okay.
I had a quick shot. Anyway, maybe I can try editing.
Are we good?
Yeah, we're good. It's still recording. Oh my god. I was like, did I see the red blinking dot?
Are we both in the frame?
Yeah, we're still in the frame. We're still in the frame.
Okay,
Oh my god. Okay, so.
No, so I did a bunch of cartwheels every day. And then my mom signed me up for gymnastics. But I wasn't very good at like bars and stuff.
Yeah.
So I mostly did great in floor.
In floor work?
Yeah, and I like to choreograph the routines. And I really quickly, people started asking me to help them choreograph their floor routines. And that has always, from the beginning, probably even more than actually dancing. I love dancing, don't get me wrong. But even more than that, it's always been making it up, creating it. And my coach used to get mad at me because I would change my routine.
like, stick to the routine.
Because it's only like a minute long. It's not very much to choreograph, and you have to do the same thing all year. She'd get really mad at me.
Oh, really?
Because I would.
See, I don't know anything about the whole gymnastics realm, so.
She wanted me working on tricks.
Ah.
And I just wanted to. Well, what if I do this?
You wanted the in between stuff, the transitions.
Yeah.
Trick and melt. Pose.
Yeah, but that was definitely the beginning.
Wow. And then in your high school years, did you do gymnastics all the way until high school, or did you slowly? So when did you start getting into dancing? Like, when was that tipping point or that transition phase?
Yeah, I did musical theater. I was also a singer. So,
really?
And then the funny thing was, I would always get cast in the roles that were the dancing roles.
Oh, interesting.
Like I was Cha-Cha in Grease and hot box dancer in Guys and Dolls, you know.
Yeah,
so I always was dancing roles. And then one day my mom, I was like, what should I go to school for? Maybe music? And my mom was like, well, I think you should go to school for dance and be a choreographer. And I was like,
yeah.
You're so stupid, Mom. I didn't say stupid, but,
yeah.
you know.
Mom, don't listen.
I was like, you don't know anything.
Yeah,
What do you know? Because I realized that I did not have any training, really.
Yeah.
So I saved my, but I took one jazz class because I saved my babysitting money.
Oh,
I took a jazz class, and I wore like suspender leotard, you know, like those old with like the high cut.
Yeah.
In 8th grade, it was awesome.
The
anyway, totally. Anyway, but yeah, so I just did a little bit of dance, but mostly musical theater.
Oh wow, that's really interesting how you transition from gymnastics, which is like this and presentational, and then the full triple threat, and then going into dancing. Well, it is, right? A lot of times
I guess some people
the performers in that field, they have such they're able to take their energy and focus it into 3 different areas at the same time, and then it's not like one is lacking. They tend to keep them up at a high level, you know.
Yeah, but eventually I failed out of a couple of majors.
Oh, really?
And so I finally, basically after I'm terrible in business.
Yeah.
And music I just wasn't quite in. But I was terrible in business, so I walked by Mitchell Hall's studio one day,
Yeah.
and Ed Burgess was in there teaching dance class, and I was like, whatever that is, I'm doing it. And it was just like that.
Instantly.
Mm-hmm.
See, I had the same effect when I was coming home during the Christmas break when I was in the military program. I saw Robert on stage in Ed's piece. I think it's called Not From Kansas, I think it was.
Yes, I remember.
Or Nowhere, something from Kansas. Anyway, I saw Robert doing his stuff on there and I said, oh, what is this? I got to do this. Because at the time I was just studying and I wasn't moving my body.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I wonder how many people are like that it's just like,
It's instant.
right now.
Yeah.
you know. Maybe because for you
That's
and
the question I have to ask.
we didn't grow up training as dancers. Like
No, I
maybe
did not train at all.
Some people train, and they don't have that. So maybe more people like me and you.
Well, that's a question that's okay. That's a note that I have to think about for the future. What was that tipping point that made them change their mind that I have to do something where it's movement? As we both know, we're both kinesthetic learners. I mean, that's how we take in information and then bring it out physically, whether it's a story, a concept, whatever.
Yeah.
Maybe we should dance business.
For real. That would go better.
2 and 2, perfect.
But I like teaching people like you though,
Yeah.
because I feel like I can relate,
Yeah.
because I understand what it feels like to be like, I don't know.
I don't know where it's.
Right, like
Yeah.
I have all this energy and I'm strong and I can do something, but I don't know
I don't know what to do. It's like how do you give someone the momentum to go into a new avenue and try it in some type of movement vocabulary they've probably never been exposed to.
Yeah.
And it's also, it's like the brain telling the body that it's okay to have that connection, to build those pathways, to do this weird movement.
Right.
Right? At least it was for me. I was like, my body doesn't move that way. But you try. The key thing is you try. Speaking of dance, when you were a college student, obviously you said Ed Burgess, so what was the style of dance that really influenced you the most when you were a college student?
Ballet was a challenge for me because I perceived it like there's like one way to do this, and I don't know the secret, because when you start late, it just feels like, I missed a whole bunch and there's no way I'll ever catch up. And I'd look in the mirror and I'd go, I don't look the way, So I just had too much.
I don't look ballet-like, and especially coming from gymnastics and stuff, your muscles develop a certain way, and then you have to then become this other way of either turning out or whatever, and who knows how your body was trained, maybe things are going inward, and then it's like a lot of this stuff is outward, right?
Yeah. Well, it was just more power packed.
Yeah, power packed, yeah.
But taking class, Ed was my first teacher, and taking class with him, it made me realize how it felt like momentum-based like gymnastics.
Yeah.
And so then it felt like I had some way in, I could figure out how this feels like moving or, because I knew I wasn't going to be a classical ballet dancer. So it felt
Let's
like,
be real.
yeah, like let's be real. But it felt like me,
Yeah.
it felt like there's a space for me in there. And now, of course, I don't take ballet that. I don't take any ballet. The last time I took ballet was like when I was in college, in 2001 or something. Right. But I don't have anxiety about it anymore.
Yeah.
Because now I get it. It's like,
Yeah.
what I'm taking a ballet class for is for a different purpose than performing it.
And at least, I think that's the key thing, at least, what style you like.
Right.
But Ed's style, there was some gymnastics component to it because he
Yeah.
also did gymnastics when he was younger, if I'm correct. And he had this water-like quality that he could just be standing and just literally melt into the floor
Yeah.
and then pop back up again. And it's amazing to see his age at the time, his age, and he had this flexibility like an octopus. You could just take the legs and...
Yeah, and that big, beautiful
Yeah.
chest,
The presence.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
This has to do with injuries, past injuries. What are some old injuries that maybe are affecting you now to this day, or events that were something that affect you as a dancer?
Those babies.
Babies. I know. I have 2, but you have 4.
4.
Yes. 3 pregnancies.
3 pregnancies.
4 babies.
4 babies, because I had twins.
Yeah.
It was not planned. I'm not
Yeah.
trying to break any records, but I really have wondered.
But they're here.
I've wondered how many dancers out in the world
Yeah.
are active and have 4 children.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to beat anyone out of this record, but I'm interested to know, maybe because I'm vain or something. But anyway, it's interesting to me, but it's tough to bounce back every time. First time you think it's tough, but you don't know how tough it is, so the third time.
To the 3rd time.
But I had a C-section the 3rd time, and so that's a lot harder. But I'm finding...
Because again, when you're doing that, you're really taking out the abdominal wall, and then you have to recover, and then that connection with your legs. And,
yeah, exactly,
right?
and that's
Yeah.
where I struggle, is in my...
In the hip flexors?
Mhm.
Oh wow, interesting.
Yeah, so I'm working on it.
Well,
Strength.
who was it? I remember my old teacher, and we know him. His name is We won't mention his name. Anyway, he used to say, just turn like this and get a better angle. If you don't have the flexibility, just turn like this. Okay. Wow, yeah, I know what you mean. Spring back. And hey, amazing job. Look at me.
Thanks.
It's a standard. Okay, now currently, so, you know, what inspires you now as an artist? Whether it's is it a movement that's happening, or a good book, or a movie that you're just like, man, I really want to, it fills your creative juices and you want to act upon it?
You know, that's an interesting question, because I think I kind of go all over, you know, from project to project.
Yeah.
In particular, because we do so much collaboration here.
Yeah.
So actually, I think that's my answer. Collaboration fuels me.
Yeah.
Not that I mean, I can come up with dances on my own, but it's an interesting challenge to me, and it's a community-minded challenge as well.
It's the group. It's the me, we.
Right. And so, yeah, is it smart for business? Is it smart for visibility to be collaborating with other organizations? Absolutely. Is that the reason I do it? Maybe a little.
Maybe, yeah.
But most of it is, like nearly all of it, is the fact that then it keeps bringing something new to the table. You know, it forces me to problem solve differently and imagine things differently, and also it really expands the potential. So I feel like it's collaboration.
Because some of these collaborations, you know, maybe the project's not the best, right? It doesn't turn out the way you want it, but that person you collaborate with, you know, you may work on another project or 3 other projects, and you can produce great work together.
Yeah.
You know, and so that's the beauty of it when you have these. You just never know, like this interview. It's working. Like, woo! Throw confetti. No, don't throw confetti.
I'm sure we have some.
Well, thanks. And let's see, what style of movement, whether it's dance or not dance, or that you're really kind of interested in? I'll give you an example quickly.
Yeah.
So last summer, when I got back into the dance program at UW-M after 10 years, I was taking a Gaga class, and Dani was in the Gaga class too, and it was just different. It's just different. It's just different.
It was different.
So that was one. That's an example. But so, what are some other, you know, styles of movement that maybe are like, you're like, oh, maybe I'd like to try that out, or?
You know, the Gaga thing really made me stop for a second and think phrase making differently. So that was an interesting sort of mutation that I definitely could see. Right, you know, like just the idea, like, what is the idea, stick with the idea until everybody understands the idea. Whereas I think in the past I'm sort of, you know, I don't know, quick.
Yeah.
You know, moving through a bunch of ideas, and so I appreciated how long you stay.
Yeah.
So that changed my way of phrase making. But I like everything. I love funny dances. Like I think slapstick. I mean, that's my musical theater. Like slapstick is fun.
Yeah.
Because it's like combination of musical theater and dance. I always make silly fun dances. Not always, but I have. You know, over time.
Yeah.
I like big
I think there's someone coming in. Hello, the room is being preoccupied. Anyway, that's not going to be edited. This I like the video being raw like this, because it shows that, you know, even as performers, you know, stuff comes up and you gotta keep rolling with it.
And it's Danceworks. There's
And
like
it's
kids camps going on. There's art activities, things like that. But I was gonna say, I think subtlety is something that I'm embracing more as I get older. Something I probably could work on a little bit, you know, especially if my hip keeps hurting.
Yeah,
subtlety, because I'm more prone to like big, full, over the top kind of movement. But I would also say using words, you know, that's something that I've done pretty regularly as well. You know, intertwining text and talk, or text and movement, and even if we don't end up actually talking when you dance, like take the talking
But at
off.
least there's a story there. There's some thought process behind it. It's not just regular. It's a good example was the piece you did about your grandmother, Mrs. Schultz. That was a really beautiful piece. I read it, you know, in your bio, but then actually seeing it firsthand. I mean, that was a piece that took Dani to the American College Dance Festival Nationals, right, in D.C. It was a soloist. I mean, it says something as an artist when you get recognized for these things. And
it was the second dance I ever made.
Really?
Yeah.
Hey, man, tell me something.
I was like, oh.
What?
And I got so nervous when I got there. I screwed up the whole thing. I skipped a whole chunk.
Really?
It was terrible. And Edwin along with me, and I think he was kind of like,
it's okay. I'm still watching.
It's fine.
I know what it was supposed to look like. No.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I'm never going to see those people again.
Going back a little bit about your, I mentioned this to you before, because I performed with Dani. I think this was the beginning of the year or last year sometime. It was with the Milwaukee Symphony Orchestra.
Yeah, that was last February.
Yeah, last February.
A year and a half.
It was a tango piece. Well, Dani wasn't in it, but you hired me for it.
Yeah.
Anyway, I saw you do this piece where you're like Cupid.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow, great comedic timing. And I told you that after, I said, wow, you're really good. Like, the timing, I think that's one of the hard things, is comedic timing, is that either you have it or you don't. You can try and work for it, but the nuances is something that it just has to, I feel like it has to be inside of you, and you really convey that, even as it's just great. All I say is it's just great, and I was watching the wing like, wow, that was really damn cool, you know?
Thank you. And, I think that's one where, like, even though I'm not saying words in my mind, I'm thinking through, like, every single thing, and so I try to, think about that a lot in movement, even if it's not something that tells a narrative or a story, like, do I know what this is exactly? So kind of like the Gaga thing, like, stay with that one thing till you really know what it is.
The Lenas and the Lunas. I don't know what he came up with, but anyway.
It was great.
Okay, let's see. What's some of the current collaborations that you have? We're in the summertime. This is July, 2015. So, what are some collaborations that are going on right now, say for the summer, and then also for the fall season?
Well, next season, I'm really excited. There's all collaborations, for the whole season.
Oh, really?
Yeah. A big one is at the end of the season, we're collaborating with Chanticleer Chamber Choir.
Where's
so
they from?
A whole choir. They're from Milwaukee. It's a new choir in Milwaukee, and they're really great. And then there's an actor, writer, Jason Powell, that we've worked with before. So he's writing a brand new fairy tale, and the music will be provided by the choir. So it'll be.
Oh wow! So double collaboration. Triple threat.
So that'll be an example of a more narrative kind of choreographic experience, and I'll choreograph that one so that it's cohesive from start to finish. But then moving back, the concert in the middle of the season, it's a collaboration with a UW-M music ensemble. And so that'll be like giving the different dancers in the company an opportunity to choreograph and whatnot. And then first off, we have Alan Russell, who's a local composer, and so we're going to be doing a concert called, Shadows, Footsteps, and Whispers. So it'll be sort of creepy. That's how we're starting the year. Shadows, Footsteps, and Whispers.
Kind of creepy.
Yeah, it'll be creepy.
That's cool. This is thinking about for the future, right? We talked about your past, your present, and then going forward. Where do you see yourself as a director here with this company? Like, what are some things that you want to push or explore more with?
I think it's really important to consider, like you were saying before we were on camera, to consider what's the big picture.
Yeah, what's the big picture?
Because if it's just about the next concert, the next collaboration, if it's only about those things,
then it's just like doing steps, and it gets boring and it's not interesting, and people might not find your work interesting then, right? Or any work interesting.
Or even like as an evolving human, like what am I attaching so much energy to, or what am I putting so so like what's the outcome? So I'm not saying that every single project I do is going to have like I don't know, it's going to feed the hungry somehow or that. But then
I'm going to start dancing and do something with my life now.
But like, how can you engage people in it? How can you, the concert that we just did, Fairy Queen Fantasy, was opera outdoors.
At the Linden Sculpture Garden, which is a huge, huge, beautiful space.
Yeah, and it had 52 dancers, and they were ages 7 to 77 years old. So most of the dancers were professional dancers, our company members, and then other guests that are professional dancers, plus these children and elderly people that danced together, and it was amazing. To me it was, because fairies are immortal, it was immortality, and I don't mean that we all want to be youthful, I just mean we are all of it, so to me that was like a big thing, like not that I want to do every single concert to be including all different age groups and all of that, but that's something, it's something that really means a lot to me, and is really great for Danceworks as an organization, because we have classes for people that are 50 years and older, and classes for children, and so it's just a great way.
And I think I watched some older interviews of you, and one of them talked about this thing called IMAP. Can you explain what that is? Because I think it's really important, because again, you're talking about people of age and younger, right? It's interdisciplinary, at the same time
Yeah, it's intergenerational multi-arts project.
That's a mouthful.
It is a mouthful. And I was in the room when we decided, so many versions came out, but that really was the simplest. So intergenerational multi-arts project, it's you take kids from a school to a nearby senior center, and they work together making visual art projects. Because Danceworks is a multi-arts organization. Anyway, so they make visual arts projects together, they do dancing together, and in particular they create dances together. So it's not only about like learning the dance, but also the act of creation.
The act of creation. It's the process too. I think
Yeah.
it's important. How do you take your creative juices and then create something that wasn't there before? You
Yeah.
know, by guidance and then also mentorship, because that's what you're doing when you have someone older and younger. You know, this is that mentorship process.
And that it's even.
And,
It's not like, you know, sometimes, you know, the children might feel like, oh, I need to go help this person. No,
Yeah.
because sometimes, you know, the elderly person that maybe can't use their left arm can tell the kid a lot about, you know, school or their life, or say, come over here, we're doing this now, you know, that,
Yeah.
that kind of, so it's mutual. And the same thing, like Fairy Queen Project, you know, I didn't, you know, feel like, oh, I'm doing this great thing for someone who's 77 years old. No, she did a great thing for me, because she made me realize, like, all the possibilities, you know, that I have left in my lifetime of things to do.
I know, that's it. I mean, I personally feel that I'm going to keep moving, grooving way until my 70s or 80s, you know.
Really?
And I think, again, because we're movers, you know, it doesn't always have to be an elaborate jump or leap. It could be, like, you know, you talked about simplicity earlier on. It could be just, you know, just adjusting your head or presenting outward is equally powerful, you know.
Yeah, and our fairy dancer elders, they were awesome, like eyes and everything.
They had eyelashes.
Not fake,
they had real eyelashes. I'd have fake. I don't know. Anyway, I'd have fake eyelashes if I was in it. But this is, I guess, to sum it up, is, you know, what's some word of advice that you would like to give to the young dancers or movement artists here in the community, whether it's in the Midwest or anywhere else who are going to be watching this video? What's one thing you'd like to leave with?
Yes, I'm thinking a lot about this. Here's what it is.
Sure.
Okay, if I'm putting on a concert next week,
Yeah.
and I didn't do my work, or I didn't plan accordingly, or whatever, and all of a sudden I start going, come on, I need you guys every second, drop what you're doing, come over here and, like, rehearse until midnight with me, we're going to do this. You cannot expect people to do that over and over again. You will not keep people on your island with you. They will vote you off the island, or they will leave the island.
Yes, it has to do with time management. This
Yes.
is one thing that I talked about, which is a huge issue that I have personally with a lot of young artists, a lot of freelance artist movement as well. How do you manage your time? Because time is equally important. Time is money, and
Yep.
time is valuable, especially for those of us who have families and have professions. When we're committed to the project, it's 120% plus.
Absolutely.
So we're in there. So we're running things in our head even when we're not with you guys, right? Whether it's choreography or whatever. We're putting notes, we're taking notes, we're doing things just so that when we have that 1 hour with you, we're going to make the best of it. And so,
Right.
like, if you can't value someone else's time, then at a certain point people are going to say, I'm sorry, and they'll go the other way.
Yeah.
Because nobody wants to deal with it. It's unprofessional.
Yeah, and I've had the same not all the same dancers, but
Yeah.
some dancers in the company 10 plus years, 14 years,
Yeah.
you know, and they're not my dancers. We are the dancers that make
Yeah.
up the company. It's really important to me to foster that kind of environment, because it's not about me.
Yeah.
Who would want to come see me directing concerts every year? I mean, some people organize themselves that way, and that's fine. I just
Yeah.
mean, for me, you know, we're better as a group. I appreciate the fact that someone is interested in continuing to dance with Danceworks Performance Company that long. So how can I 3 times a year for 14 years say, you know what, show up and then we'll do a 10 o'clock. Drives me crazy.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
Don't do that. It's a bad practice. Don't get into it. It's a bad habit, and again, it will leave you a bad mark in the community. People talk and say, "This guy he or she just does not know how to value time."
Right.
So,
So the best way
yeah.
to anticipate, or not to anticipate, the best way to solve problems is with creativity, thoughtful planning,
Yeah.
and simplicity.
And simplicity.
Not panic, and not anger and screaming and yelling.
Yeah, if you do that, it's going to make you go like this, and people don't want to.
And then your creativity
Yeah,
shuts
your
down.
creative juices disappear because you're like, oh my god, it's not supposed to be about that. It's supposed to be about literally opening and expressing outward. Well, that's about it. So thank you, Dani. Thank you for your time. We'll do the pleasure.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, before I keep saying thank you, where can we find out more information about you, Dani? Is there a website, or is there something that you want to plug in?
Probably the Danceworks website is danceworksmke.org.
.org. Or you can find her at UWM,
Yeah, I'm also at
Peck
UWM.
School of the Arts.
Yeah, it's uwm.edu.
.edu.
Yep.
Until then. Thank you so much for taking the time in your day to watch this amazing video of my special guest. I wanted to inform you about one of my latest ebooks. It's called Smart Kinetic Capital: 5 Easy Steps on Becoming a Successful Freelance Movement Artist, done by yours truly. You can purchase it on Amazon for $2.99. I would highly recommend it, especially for those of you who are in the field and need to know a little bit more about, you know, how do you manage your time and how do you market yourself, or how do you tell people that you exist. So it's a great content and a fast read, and I would highly recommend it to anyone who is, again, pursuing this type of lifestyle as a movement artist.